Hello, welcome back to another video from my dumb ass. This one's for Parkway Drive's Reverence, and as I ordered the signed edition, that of course guaranteed it wouldn't show up in time, so I don't have a physical copy to show you today, so no proper intro. But however, let's take a look at Reverence by Parkway Drive. Ding 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 ding, ding 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 ding. Ba-dum ba-ding ding ding ding, ba-dum ba-ding ding ding. I'm going to fade out. Okay, so Reverence by Parkway Drive, the new album. Parkway Drive are a metalcore band, that's what they're classed as, from Australia. Parkway Drive was actually, I think that was the street or the drive where their rehearsal space was situated, hence naming it Parkway Drive. Someone's been here. This is some fucking Blair Witch shit. Yes, this is the band's 6th studio album and the first since 2015's Ire, which received a bit of flack, I think, for a bit of change in direction, change in musical direction. I have no real previous experience with this band, so my judgment of it shall be free of prejudice, as I always am. Such a good boy. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going in life as well as this. Physically, spiritually, financially, God, really fucked there. Just another quick thing before I get into the songs. According to a recent Metal Hammer interview, the band had quite a rough time between the release of Ire and the recording of this album. Quite a lot of death was surrounding it, which is obviously where the name of the album comes from, Reverence. Their good friend Tom Searle from the UK band The Architects, who they toured with quite a lot, sadly passed away from cancer during this time. Winston McCall, the vocalist for the band, his dog also died of cancer, a dog whom he was very attached to, him and his lady. I believe he said that his entire family unit was himself, his girlfriend, his dog and his cat. So anyone who's lost a beloved animal will know that pain. And also an undisclosed member of the band also had a partner who died of cancer all around the same time. So a lot of death surrounding this one. Very dark place the band found themselves in. And by all accounts there's been multiple diagnoses for other people suffering with it that they've experienced since then as well. So yes, cancer and the ebbing away of time, mortality was very much in the forefront of their minds, especially the lyrics when they were writing this album. I'm going to turn around and go back up this way, so expect things to get breathy. First song is Wishing Wells. I think there was a video for this one. First sound you hear are crows. Crows, of course, being the harbinger of death, which quite fitting for an album such as this, I guess. Clean guitar and spoken word intro. I'll just read some of this out because this is pretty good stuff. I spoke about today and asked if God would come and play. I dug a shallow hole for him to sleep, but I swear he just won't answer me. I call on out, is he afraid? I'll bury him down with the ones he keeps. And if the devil's listening, I'll come for him as well, if I suspect he had a hand to play. And if I see his face in town, there's room for 2 down underground. Nothing's gonna stop me till I'm done. Until I'm done! And the song really kicks off. Kind of a Lamb of God style to it. That kind of new wave of American heavy metal. The turn of the 2000s. Some great riffing, great drumming. Vocals are done. There's lots of different styles of vocals in it as well. From hushed tones to real death grunts to just full on anger. Very expressive song, great start to the album, digging it already. Next up we have Pray, and this one is about modern culture's constant need for validation. If you could please like, subscribe, comment, I'd be really grateful. Please, I need to hear this, I need it. Genuinely I do, if you could subscribe that'd be great. Really enjoyed the opening to this one. Had a real sort of old school dual guitar harmony sound that pervades through much of the song. There's a lot of it on this album actually. It does blend a lot of modern elements with a lot of the old school kind of riffing. Fuck's all that about? There's a great chorus and gang vocals on this one. Pray! Pray! Pray for the sorrow. I'm assure you what they do is much better than that. Absolute Power is up next. Starts out with a really heavy distorted bass. Love the sound of this bass. And it kind of goes into a mid-pace riff. On the eyes of the storm, the truth drops like a bomb. There's a rap-like cadence on this that's actually very reminiscent of Triple Beam from Machine Head's Catharsis album, which it just so happens I've actually done a review on already. So, you know, if you just happen to stumble across it. After this review, of course. Has to be said that the riff on the chorus sounds quite a lot like Triple Beam as well. But as I love that song, I don't see that as an issue. I kind of did a weird step there. There's a great breakdown section in this as well, where it screams, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Ain't that the goddamn truth, guys? Next up we have something I found to be a real highlight. I wasn't expecting this. This pretty much in the middle of the album. Just a 2-minute track, Cemetery Bloom. It's kind of a spoken word piece with some almost choir-like backing vocals. And there's some sort of traditional sounding Celtic style strings going on in it as well, which works really well. All hail my unnatural disaster. All hail my kaleidoscopic gloom. All hail my karmic equalizer. All hail my cemetery bloom. Really, really enjoyed this one. Thought this was a great little track. Wasn't expecting it. I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. I enjoyed this album very much, and maybe that's the benefit of not having heard the back catalogue. Sometimes you just kind of take the music for what it is. There's no prejudice, there's no prejudging, which is what prejudice is. Little tip for you there, guys. Next up we have The Void. Real groove to this one. I'm going into an area where there could be people. I may have to deal with folk, people. Not a good sign. Real groove to this one, and dare I say almost a little radio friendly. I don't think that's the intention by any stretch. I think if anything, from what I read in one of the interviews, they were kind of less inclined to give a fuck about what anybody thought when doing this album, which I salute highly. My personal opinion on the whole selling out thing is you're just as much a sellout if you listen to what the fans say and stick to what they want. That's not to say that this is a mainstream song by any stretch, but there is definitely a touch more melodicism in it. Answer no master, never the slave, carry your dreams down into the grave. Every heart, like every soul, equal to break. Fuck yeah. Next up, pretty dark song this one, I Hope You Rot. This was written in response to some of the recent findings of the child abuse going on in the Australian Catholic Church, as it does seem to be everywhere, unfortunately. Such an abuse of power. Absolutely fucking disgusting to use that power against the ones who need the most help, the ones who need the most protection. Fuck you. Absolutely disgusting. But this was also partly inspired by a friend of the band who had suffered said abuse. From crooked faith the darkness flows, from hallowed halls through broken homes, to prey upon the weakest lamb. The cruelest heart is truly man. That's pretty fucking righteous. I didn't know what I was expecting coming into this album. I have to say I enjoyed it way more than I was expecting to. The lyrics especially, I think he's done a solid job on the lyrics. He really has. Next up is Shadowboxing, and this is a song about being yourself, or not losing yourself to what others think you are when you're in the public eye. I'm kind of starting to feel what that's like. Do you see me? Do you see what I've become? Do you see me? Do you see me? Do you see what I've become? I'm not the same beast. I leave a scar in all I touch. You think you know me now. Is it better than I know myself? I know it hurts like hell, admitting just how you've misjudged. A lot of strings on this one, and a very rap-like cadence once again. It's worth mentioning that I did find a lot of the vocals very reminiscent of Corey Taylor. I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way, but some of the more spoken word stuff reminded me of Corey Taylor at the beginning of Duality, and a lot of the rap-like stuff that he was doing had a very Corey Taylor vibe to it as well. I mean, he does make it his own totally, but it's just a comparison I couldn't help but make. Interesting. I think it's clear to say that the band are doing exactly what the hell they want on this album, and more power to them. Next up, In Blood. This is pretty much a defiance song, with the band proclaiming exactly how much they've sacrificed and sweated and worked to get where they are, and now they have no intention of going anywhere. And through it all, we wore the pain. We held our own through the darkest of our nights. Really enjoyed this one. Oh, I'm sweating like a motherfucker. Enticing. Unlike a lot of the guys who just sit in their rooms, I sweat for my reviews. Next up, Cronos, and this was really a standout song. Cronos, of course, is the personification of time, and no doubt the realisation of one's mortality that the band went through on the making of this album has a significant part in this song. Another one with great use of melodic harmony guitar lines, as well as some really heavy modern riffing. I am the thunder and the rain, the confusion and the pain, and when I leave I will wash your wounds clean and leave them golden. I got the whole world swinging from the end of my chain, and I'm calling. I got your life in my hands, and every debt will be paid, and I'm calling. Yeah, some really good guitars on this one, and some nice string, and a nice string section that comes in towards the outro of the song. Really, really enjoyed this one. Again, really enjoyed the lyrics. Awesome. I hear music, but not good music. Shitty popular music I hear. Next up, we have the final song, The Colour of Leaving. And again, another great song. This had a kind of similar vibe to the intro of the first song. Starts out with clean guitar and clean vocals, which pretty much, well, actually the clean vocals stay throughout. Some strings join in later on. This is only like 3.5 minutes. And this sounds to me like Winston standing at a graveside. It sounds like they're clods of earth being thrown onto a coffin. So a burial. It sounds like this is a final lament to a lost one. A very atmospheric and suitable close to the album, I thought, on this one. Final spoken words are done to no music. The music slowly fades out, so all you hear is his voice. You never know the words you should have said until they're all you're left with, until the dirt is falling and the guilt, it burns your bones. And we ask the biggest question, why the fuck did all this happen? Who on earth deserves this? And what the hell do we do now? So we live like we have lost, and we love like we are broken. And as the colour leaves the sky, we're left in reverence of the frailty of it all. This one fades out as he's walking away from the graveside. Really, really loved this song. Very touching song, very emotional, very expressive. And a lot more than I was expecting from a so-called metalcore band. I really, really enjoyed this one. I would give this a solid 8 out of 10. So yes, that was Reverence by Parkway Drive. Highly recommend that you go check it out, give it a chance. If you're already into the band, give it a couple of listens as well. Go into it expecting something different. Go in knowing the subject matter. I think sometimes that helps, actually. A lot of people, I've heard a couple of people slagging off the vocals or, you know, or the delivery of it. And it was kind of like when Mastodon did Emperor of Sand. There were a lot of people slagging off the story and the vocals. And I do kind of wonder how many people actually understood the concept behind it and the events in the people's lives that inspired the album in the first place. Death is always one of those things that at some point we all have to face. And when you see it happen to somebody else, you know, I think it's a really deep album. I think it's definitely worth checking out, so I'm not justifying it any more than that. Check it out, it's a good album. So, what do I have next? Well, next I will have the Isan review. Now, that was supposed to be up today, but I've had to alter things slightly, so that should be up tomorrow. That will be for Isan's Amir album. And I've got some subscribers' requests coming up. Next week I'm going to be actually taking a look at something different, which will be the Arctic Monkeys' new album, their first album in a while, something different. I've got no problem with the Arctic Monkeys. Well, they had one song that pretty much mimicked War Pigs. Fucking awesome. That's some pretty good credentials right there as far as I'm goddamn concerned, you motherfuckers. I don't need to justify myself to why I'm reviewing an album. Calm down, Ben, they know not what they do. But yes, plenty to come. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Like, comment, share. If you like what you've seen, let other people know. Help the channel grow. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this one. Check out the album. I'll see you next time.